As left-wing riots burn Los Angeles, Donald Trump threatened to cut off federal funding to the state of California, saying, quote, "No taxpayer should have to fund the demise of our country." In response, Marxist California Governor Gavin Newsom threatened to withhold California taxes to the federal government. So who can defund who, and what happens if they do? So first, the numbers. Californians pay $692 billion of federal taxes, a little over 10% of the total, but they only get $609 in return, about $80 billion less. This is true of most blue states because they have higher incomes. They have the big cities and the corrupt NGO grants. Indeed, the 20 states that voted for Kamala Harris contribute nearly $400 billion more than they get. Now, Democrats complain about this, but of course the reason any of us pay such high taxes is blue state Democrats. So blue states would like to, say, get rid of the income tax so they stop subsidizing reds. I am sure red state voters would love to take that deal. To illustrate, California gave the Democrats Congress in the early 80s during Reagan's first term, where they passed one of the largest tax hikes in peacetime, despite a passionately small government president. Again in the early 90s, when the House passed immigration amnesty and gun control, the Brady Bill. And again during Bush the Second W, when California Democrats blocked relief on the marriage penalty and death tax. Indeed, without California's House seats, the GOP would currently have a big, beautiful majority in the House and could have actually passed spending cuts with teeth. So California made its bed, $80 billion and all. The next question is whether it's legal to withhold funds. In short, yes for Trump, although they will litigate, and a big no for California. So federal funding makes up a huge chunk of state funding, a little over a third across all states, including California. The feds have long used that money to impose its will upon states, from dictating local speed limits to dictating transgenders in girls' locker rooms. So Trump should be able to do it on the speed limit precedent, but of course there's a lot of left-wing judges between here and there. Now, if Trump does cut off the money, California would have an instant $170 billion budget deficit, third of their budget. So no more Medicaid for illegals, state-funded crack pipes, or gender changes for inmates, no more NGOs, university funding, or high-speed trains to nowhere. As for California blocking money, it's a lot clearer. Individual Californians pay federal taxes to the IRS, not to California. So there is no mechanism for Gavin Newsom to intercept those dollars. Now, there have been moves to try and change this. In early Obama, 13 red states introduced legislation for residents to pay federal income tax directly to the state, who could then withhold them to the feds. None of those ever passed, so this has not been tested in court. About the most Newsom could do is withhold payroll tax that California collects on state employees, which comes to something like $6 billion a year, compared to $692 billion. So what's next? Brought to you by Unchained.com. You could argue the Fed should not have this much power over states. Alas, that ship sailed with Mr. Lincoln, if not the Articles of Confederation. When it comes to the power of the purse, Trump holds all the cards and California holds none. Okay, we'll be watching. See you next time.